Now on to, and a second chance to catch this part of the Aftershock series of programmes focusing on Ireland after the crash, Ghostland explores the day-to-day reality of living in the devalued homes of unfinished estates.
Good morning everybody and welcome to the Ghostbusters tour. Ghostbusters! Yes, we're going on a 21st century tour to see some brand new Irish relics, some 21st century follies. We're not going to see Blarney Castle, we're seeing brand new built but already empty Irish ghost towns.
During the recent property boom, houses and apartments went up at an astonishing rate. Now, reminders are everywhere. Unfinished estates where machines are silent and the builders have gone. Rows of brand new houses on offer at discount prices. And people faced with the fallout of a property crash.
What kills us is that's supposed to be a playground. That should be a playground for the kids right now, like.
I've never in a million years considered that anything like this could happen. Like, I mean, you never would have even dreamt it up.
Constantly feel stressed. I have a constant knot in my stomach and my head just be dizzy from thinking, what are we going to do? Like, I would have hand this house back.
I would love to get somebody in and pump that sewer up, put it into a tank and bring it up and put it in the Longford County Council office, and let's see how they would feel about it.
Ireland in recession has a surplus of houses, and in some places they've been left to rot. But everywhere there are people trapped by negative equity in homes they bought at the wrong time and in the wrong place. Longford is one place feeling the aftershock of a 10-year building boom. As part of the Border, Midlands and Western region, the county qualified for tax breaks for newly built residential property. This proved very attractive to builders and investors. First-time buyers were also drawn by the value compared to big city prices. Longford town was promoted as the ideal base to commute to Dublin.
The minute I stepped in the doors of the house, I just knew that I wanted this house. My choices was to buy this house or buy an apartment for the same value in Dublin. When I'm in the house and I've the doors closed, it's my dream home. You know, and the blinds are down and I'm sitting watching the television in front of the fire. It's great because you can't see what's going on. But when Lee comes into me with bones popped out of his arm and needs to be rushed to Mullingar, it's a mistake. Lee is very happy in Longford, but he doesn't understand how dangerous it is to be playing in derelict houses. You know, how dangerous it can be cycling down the road with the big holes in the road. So he's happy, but, you know, he's not the one who has to try and fix all the problems.
Silver Birches is on the outskirts of Longford town. The plan, when launched in 2006, was to build 49 houses around a landscaped green and tennis courts. But 18 months on, and with many residents already in their new homes, building work came to a halt. The development company had run out of money. It's now in liquidation.
Looking out my sitting room window, I look out onto empty houses and onto the building site. There's about 6 or 8 boys, they're all around the same age. The empty houses, they can get into them. During the summer, the grass gets long, so their next port of call is the building site.
Come on, Lisa.
There's broken glass, there's all sorts over there. I'm sure rats, because the foundation's built, but all that's in them is stagnant water.
Arsenal are the best in the world. You wish.
We're kind of waiting for one of them to have an accident. They can get up onto the second floors, into the attic spaces. You try and tell them it's dangerous. They don't listen. You know, that's where they're playing and that's their entertainment. And you can't see what they're doing. They're kind of just like big, giant tree houses there for them. It's very hard to try and tell a group of 10, 11, 12-year-old boys that, you know, it's dangerous. The more danger to them, the more adventurous it is, I suppose. I have already had 2 hospital trips with my son. He hit a pothole in the dark and landed on his elbow and broke his elbow. He fell off a curb and broke his wrist. That's happened in the dark because we have no lights in the winter. It's dark at 4 o'clock.
We're like pirates.
I know accidents happen. I'm not naive enough to think they don't, but they shouldn't have happened because of the state that it's been left in. Beyond the finished houses down here is the septic tanks for the sewerage. They're all very close. The kids can easily get down to them. We're not on Longford's main sewerage system because we're too far out of town. So we have septic tanks like an individual house would in the country. We were told when this estate was finished we would have to pay management fees towards keeping the septic tanks running. Because it's not finished, there's no management fees. So the ESB have cut off the power on a couple of occasions because the builders haven't paid the €3,000 on the ESB bill. And the sewage started backing up outside the houses that have the shores outside them. The ESB did switch it back on, but we don't know for how long.
The property crash has affected people in different ways. For some, job loss and the prospect of negative equity is a real worry, especially if they bought at peak prices.
I remember we drove down this road. My first impression was that the houses across the road were seen to be leaning towards us, and I was saying straight, oh no, it's fine, we're used to it. No, and we did get used to it, you know, we don't notice as much now as we did.
We paid $460,000 for the house. The price at the time I thought was disgraceful. Everybody had been saying it is going to happen, it is going to happen. We didn't think it was going to happen when we decided to buy a house. And in hindsight, I do look and go, oh, were we mad? If I think about it too much, I just feel sick. So I try not to.
It can be, I suppose, a little bit almost claustrophobic at times, you know. I mean, I love being out in the back garden and doing things in it, you know, but to have houses so close on both sides, and next door to us we have a 3-storey house, you know, it's a little bit intimidating. You don't get as much sun out the back as you would. Oh, it's madness. I think we were mad. You know what I mean? The only defence that we have is that we were caught up in, you know, the way things were at the time. I was making good money in construction. Tracy was secure in her job. Like, things were going well for us, you know, and my age group and Tracy's, it was like, we wanted things now.
In 2006, Mick and Tracy Goulding secured a €320,000 mortgage to buy a 3-bedroomed house in Balmain on Dublin's north side. Balmain is an ambitious plan. It involves several developers creating a new suburb comprised of 2,400 houses and apartments. When an early phase of Balmain was launched in 2007, the sales promotion caused quite a stir.
I don't look like that and I live here, so what's the story? Yeah, hello, like, seriously.
But it's mad actually looking at that, because you can see the house out the back there is actually the same house that's across there. Almost, you know, in the familiarity of the house there in such a crazy looking situation.
That's just mad.
We went up to see the houses though, you remember? To have a look. Remember Dermot Gavin had done the back garden in the show house with the decking and the thing, and then we seen this photo shoot with the pond and all that, or the swimming pool as they called it. But and the other chap was in Lawrence Llewellyn Bone, had done the interior design on the show houses, like, and they were very, very fancy though, weren't you?
Mm.
In 2009, Mick Goulding's work as an electrician dried up. He's been unemployed since. Tracy still has a job, but the couple are now unable to keep up mortgage repayments on their home.
But you hear the letterbox going and post being dropped in, you don't know whether there's a bill or, you know, and then when you do get the bills, you're thinking, how am I going to pay for this? You have to try and work out a budget for the month. I mean, we're basically working off Tracy's wages. My entitlement now is €54.70 a week. Ava's play school is €55 a week, you know, so it doesn't even cover that. It's hard. I mean, before all this now, if they asked for something within reason, they'd get it. You know, as everyone, every father would, you know, you try to give whatever you can to your girls, like, you know, but it's very frustrating. I mean, they'd be asking me for little things and I say, oh, I haven't got the money, like, you know.
A hole in your tooth is called a cavity. You probably got it from not brushing enough. Really? Warehouse mouse, have you been brushing your teeth?
It might sound a bit sexist, but I am a man, like, you know. You know, it's a role reversal, really. Tracy's out earning the money, you know, to keep us ticking over. Like, and when our mortgage does kick in properly now, Tracy's wages will just cover the mortgage. You know, you can forget about whatever bills we owe. And you do enjoy having me here, don't you? Yeah. When I mentioned going back to work now, they can get a little bit upset about it, you know. I think they're getting too used to having me here, and I think I may spoil them a little bit at times as well, so that doesn't help. Doesn't that, missus? I'll get you drinkies. Yeah. We bought into it. We bought into it by buying this house, you know. We thought we'd have enough money to see us through regardless, you know. We'd always have a job and stuff, and I think half the country was in the same situation, like. You can't put the blame on other people. It's our own fault. We bought things that we didn't need, basically, you know. And if we've learned anything from it, it's that we don't need, you know, to be going out and buying things constantly. We need to be saving. We need to, you know, put money away for their futures, like.
It's very hard. Like, it's hard on both of us, but I think it's harder more so on Michael, because, like, he's in the house the whole time, you know. And it did get very bad for me as well. It did put strain on the marriage, but things are okay now, because we just had to say to each other, look, there's people worse off than us. We have to try and think positive. Our kids are healthy, so that's the main thing, you know. I was kind of sell the house, just get rid of it. But then we can't really sell the house. It's not an option. Nobody's going to buy the house, like, do you know what I mean? And we discussed it. We said if we gave the keys back, we'd try and find somewhere to rent. And we'd rent until things picked up for us. And then maybe if we were able to get a few bob together, and then maybe try and buy somewhere.
And that's the thing, I mean,
cheaper.
You have you by the neck. You know? If we were an egg on the house, we'd never get a mortgage again.
Yeah.
You know the way, and I don't think the way the system works, I don't think we'd be even eligible to apply for affordable housing, having previously owned our own house, if we were to renege in that situation. So it would basically mean we probably would be renting for the rest of our lives. Like.
Hey, where's your toothbrush? Beside your lipstick. I just constantly feel like I have this sick feeling in my stomach, and I want to be able to actually go to bed and go to sleep.
Batteries are wasted on yours, so you have to do it like a normal toothbrush.
You know, when you go to bed and you wake up, things always seem an awful lot worse. And I'm going, okay, right, I have to pay this. How are we going to pay that? and then having to get up and go to work, and it's not good. Like, I did have a few anxiety attacks because of the whole thing, like the stress of it. But like, the doctor helped me out. Now, am I reading Goldilocks? Yeah. One fine day, a girl called Goldilocks went for a walk in the forest. She found a cottage in a clearing. Like, you do try to be optimistic, but it is very hard to be optimistic. Like, myself and Michael would try to, I don't know, when was the last time we went out together?
Together?
Yeah, long time. But it like, we do try to go out with the kids and stuff like that, but I don't know. It's just, constantly feel stressed. I have a constant knot in my stomach and my head does be dizzy from thinking, what are we going to do? Like, I would hand this house back, sell it, no problem, just to have a good night's sleep and to not be worrying about what am I going to get for my kids, for, you know, where am I going to get the money to buy their shoes? They need new shoes. Where am I going to get the money to pay for that, you know? Like, I don't know. It's not nice. It's horrible. Horrible feeling. But sure, what can you do?
Now, despite all the finger-wagging from all manner of expert and economic institution, Bertie Ahern said today in County Wicklow that he doesn't think the present level of borrowing to buy property is a great problem in this country. He was speaking after his address to the annual conference of the Irish Management Institute in Wicklow.
Will you just go down and stop that? Will you go down and stop that machine, lads?
Oh, yeah. I had them in the block door.
Will you leave them there? I want to.
Go down and stop that machine, Jerry, anyway. If I wanted to take to heart all the stress of the business that's facing me right now, probably it's a box I'd be in. That's one that goes down under the ground. I owe the banks 20 million, I might be honest, there's no point in saying anything less. All I worked for all my life, it's now all in the hands of the bankers. They own me. I don't own me, they own me. The clothes I have on me, I suppose maybe I can call them my own. It does de-stress you to come in and root in the clay.
"30 years ago, Johnny Owens opened a sand and gravel business on the family farm near Mullingar. During the building boom, it was a multi-million euro business.
As you can see here, the investment was massive. It's in the millions. Like, every plant you look at, left and right of you, it's $1 million for this, $1.5 million for that, $2 million for the other, and it just goes on. This place is built on output. It's all about moving materials out the gate. That's what the sales are about, and that's, at this present time, dead in the water. And employment right through the floor, just crash. 130 staff at the height in 2006 to now, it's under 20 people anyway now. It was a buzzing place, there was a lot going on, but it's a different story today, I'll tell you.
It was the move from supplying materials to actually building houses himself that eventually led to Johnny Owens' financial downfall. Johnny's development of 84 houses at Kyle Rua in Mullingar was launched in 2007, just as the market collapsed. Now prices for some houses have been reduced by almost 50%.
The bank owns the houses, they're not really my houses. There's serious borrowing on it because obviously, as a developer, I was the same as everybody else. We ran with the bank, the banks ran with us. It was a rosy deal because there was the possibility of a reasonably good profit. The site would have showed on our targeted sales prices, we would have had a profit of probably in the region of 20%. But like at the end of the day, all the monies that will come from this site will go direct to pay the banks, and there'll be a very serious shortfall.
Only 4 of the houses at Kyle Rua are currently occupied. They were all bought in 2007 when prices were at their peak.
Come on. Come on, dogs. Every time I go into the site, I get sick with the thought of the people who have already bought houses from me. Their lifetime's investment is now half the value. I never intended to sell a pig in a bag to anybody. It wasn't really our job to guide the prices. That was guided by 2 people, obviously. It was guided, first of all, by the finance available for the house. That's the very first thing. And then, obviously, the auctioneer had to run that. Those people in that sphere, 04, 07, they're buried for all their lifetime. They'll never be out of debt, unfortunately, no more than, well, I say myself, but I don't see a way out for them other than that they're going to have a lot of financial torture for a very long number of years.
There's no exact figure, but some surveys put the number of ghost estates in Ireland at over 600.
Yeah, we're another big development town. Everything for sale, but not a house to live in.
And every county has its share. Chris Sparks teaches politics and sociology at IT Sligo. Along with some colleagues and students, he's on a field trip to experience the aftermath of the Irish property crash firsthand.
There's 2 people living in this place. Is it? Look at this. Can you imagine coming home in February? It's like there was an army of people here, and all of a sudden somebody came, and that's literally, I guess, what happened, and said up and go, and like some kind of army on the run, they fled the place. What was it like that day when they came in and they thought they were fitting in some plumbing, or they thought they were fitting in skirting boards, and somebody came in and said, that's it, stop. And you can actually see the room frozen in aspic the day that the builders were told that this project was finished. You drive past them, you see them as you go to the shops, or maybe as you drive kind of in the distance, but never ever close up like this. In some ways, when you look at the houses, you're also seeing another kind of ghostliness, really, and that is, there isn't a child looking out the children's bedroom. And there aren't adults downstairs watching TV. They're not out there now looking at their daffodils or digging the soil. So the place is full of the presence of people who were intended to come here, and they just never arrived. This really is quite a spooky place on quite a nice afternoon. It would be very spooky at night, and the reason it's spooky is because of all the lost lives, the missing lives, and the withdrawn hopes that these buildings represent.
Fueled by tax breaks, housing estates rose in a landscape where there was little demand locally. The idea was, build and people will come. At Sligo Cordglass in North Longford, just 2 out of 18 houses are currently lived in. The developer intends to complete the estate if more of the vacant houses can be sold.
why would you like to live here? No facilities around. If I would like to live in a estate, I would like to have all the facilities. If I would like to live in the countryside, I would like to live in a once-off house.
You know, it's a blight on the community as they stand. I'd knock them, plain and simple.
One idea might be to turn into a retirement village, but again, that's going to require resource and expenditure. And the current financial climate, you just wonder where that's going to come from, unless some sort of private enterprise would take on that role.
Just knock them, basically. I wouldn't want my money as a taxpayer going back into these houses. I really wouldn't.
It is surreal though, isn't it? Absolutely mad. That kind of fast buck mentality that everybody thought they were an entrepreneur, anyone with a field could sell it and make a quick million, that kind of almost addiction to quick wealth, people will see that as a kind of state of madness. And these are the relics, the historical relics, as long as they stand, that will show. Every time you drive up this road, people, you can look at this and go, this is not something that we should fall for again.
Good evening. The Minister for Finance, Brian Cowan, has dismissed suggestions that the economy is too dependent on the construction sector, responding to new figures showing that the sector now accounts for 25%.
Get ringside for an explosive night of boxing on RTE 2 as Limerick's favourite son Andy Lee takes on former European champion and two-time world title challenger Mamadou Thiam. Pro Box Live Saturday at 9 on RTE 2.
What do you go for on holiday? Fresh air? Or a place you can really relax? On the biggest ferry on the Irish Sea, where everything is just to your taste. Go where you like and take your own car to Britain. Irish Ferries. It's everything you go for. From €79 one way for a car and driver. Book now at irishferries.com.
We know who's really important. Campaigns and columnists that give you a voice every day in the Irish Daily Mail.
Great Tastes of America is back at McDonald's. 5 weeks, 5 destinations, 5 burgers. This week, the Chicago Supreme, here for 1 week only. It's McDonald's, but yeehaw.
Chorus NTL are now UPC, bringing you digital TV, fibre power broadband and home phone all together. We're changing for the better. We're UPC.
Let's get the camera.
Oh, what a mess. All tidy.
M&M's, share the color.
Can I get up now?
Don't even think about it.
24 hours before the big gig. And to win this thing, we still need a certain... something.
With the clock ticking, we auditioned hundreds online. Go on. Yeah!
It's great.
Don't play, Nick.
I'm not gonna play. Put the laptop down. What sounds better than a kazoo? 8 kazoos!
We've invested in our network, so when you need to act fast, you have the best performing mobile broadband around. Vodafone.
Thousands of Irish families have fallen in love with the new One Plus plan from VHI Healthcare. But now there's even more to love, because all kids get free cover. Switch to the One Plus plan today, with kids now free or up to €840 cheaper than the others.
Lidl Super Saturday brings you unmissable offers for 1 day only this Saturday, May 15th. Save 35% on Milton Gate bacon medallions, a bite-sized $1.29. Ballymanor fresh Irish chicken breast fillets, now a succulent $2.49, save €2. Vitafit cloudy apple juice, 100% fruit content, a delicious 69¢. Skips prawn cocktail, now half price at a credit crunching $2.24. So make your Saturday a Super Saturday. Lidl, making shopping seriously cheaper.
You're listening to Radio Malaboom Boom, your non-commercial radio station. I'm MC Wonderful.
And my name is DJ Bernard. And now it's time to...
Islander.
Jumping up, jump up, everybody.
no snowflake. Bad girl. Always drink responsibly.
Tune, tune, to radio, man, boom, boom.
The recent property crash has left an estimated 600 so-called ghost estates across the landscape of Ireland. That's more than 15,000 houses and apartments no one seems to want in the current market. Many towns and villages have their quota of unfinished or unsold housing.
We spotted this on the net. We said Ballyhooly, 44 houses to be built. It was all nicely set up. 30 minutes from the Jack Lynch tunnel, everything looked nice, like about it, you know. So we said we give it a shot, you know. So then we paid the 250,000 for the 3-bedroom house at the time. The house itself, the quality of the house is okay, but what the problem is that roads, lights, the park, that's what really got to us, that the kids have nowhere to play.
Paid 275,000. I mean, I don't think that realistically anybody could put a price on any home in this country at the moment. You know, I mean, how do you value a house now? Is it demand? I mean, there doesn't seem to be much demand down here. This is the house I bought here now, 275,000, only one remaining. I mean, if you take a good look around now, I was living here for 2 years. On my own, basically, in all these 4-bedroom houses, and Conrad was also here. I mean, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 houses empty. I mean, okay, have investors bought these houses? I don't think so. I've never seen anybody come down here even looking at these houses. I was led to believe that last one remaining, you know, that's some joke.
We bought a place with a park, with roads done, with lights done. The water supply is bad here and everything, you know. If there's someone in the shower, you can't turn the tap on. That's not going to stop anyone, any child to win if they want to win, which there would be. And kids from other areas come down and they're messing about on the scaffold. Will it take someone to die? Will it take a young child to be killed before there will be something done? What kills us is that should be a playground for the kids right now, like. As you can see, that's what's left there is just their canteen, which is, as I say, you can see rats running around there from eating the food that they left behind. And
what we really bought into was a ghost estate. That's what you've got here. It's a completely ghost estate. You're walking in here at night time and it's pitch black. I mean, the least the builder could do is come along there and turn on the lights and finish the road. I mean, okay, you've got phase 2. That's never going to be built now. Build a wall across it and block the view from us. We don't want to look at that. We didn't pay all that money down here to look at this.
The developer plans to build the children's play area as part of phase 2 when demand for new houses picks up. But for now, the residents of Glown Ool will have to wait.
So now is the right time to start to buy. I think we have a duty to tell first-time house buyers, young couples who have no previous experience, there is unbelievable value in the marketplace today, and there's never the wrong time to do the right thing. And I'm giving the house the benefit of my experience and my opinion.
We get a few vegetables in here.
It's astonishing to me that I live here, you know. Because of Kate, she allowed me to develop this fantasy that I might actually be able to live in a place where I would have a house and it would be my family home. And I even own my own field. And, you know, coming from London, that's kind of like a child's story.
Lovely leitrim.
If you asked me what I was, I'd say I'm a Cockney from London. And if you asked me twice, I'd say I'm London Irish. And that, I guess, is quite a common type of person.
Chris Sparks moved from London to settle in County Leitrim in 2003, just as house prices were spiralling upwards. Having lived through the 90s property crash in the UK, he identified the danger signs in Ireland sooner than most.
There's something incredibly attractive about gambling, and there's something incredibly attractive about markets, and there's something incredibly attractive about thinking that you're really good at it. And it is a bit addictive, because it makes you feel like you're some kind of economic James Bond. And I think that's what we all got into, this fantasy. As the housing boom developed, we started to value what in fact is our home as a thing to sell. And this is my home, which I now love and value as a home. But when I arrived, I probably was thinking in the back of my mind, oh, I might be able to flog this on to some sucker sometime. It's a very vulgarised way of thinking about your home. Your house, in fact, is the encasing of your family life. It's where you paint the walls and you have the furnishings you choose, the decorations you choose. They show you who you are. Come on, Rosie. 5 to 6. Come on, darling. Some years back, in fact, you can name the point in history. I think it's when the Section 23 tax breaks came in. Everybody started to think of their house as a thing to sell, a house, but not as a home. Individuals took their fields where they had cattle grazing and built a house in. Not for them, but they would sell to some stranger and make a profit. And I guess it is a story with a moral for us, you know, is that you can't sell your home. You can't sell your inheritance. You cannot sell your community, because if you do, you will end up with dead ground. That's it, all gone.
The border Midlands and Western regions hold a high proportion of vacant housing, not all as a result of the property crash. This is an area where tax breaks for residential property were introduced in the late 90s. All of counties Longford and Leitrim qualified. This allowed landlords and owner-occupiers to write off construction costs against their taxes. A local building bonanza resulted, where supply quickly outstripped demand. Chris Sparks and students from IT Sligo are in the small village of Leitrim, where 11 new housing developments were built in a 10-year period.
There used to be 32 houses in the centre of the village. There's now about 370 dwellings. So the increase in population, while it's large, is nothing like the increase of dwellings built for what they assumed would be the population. So a lot of these new dwellings are empty. So you've got this tiny village with this huge conglomeration of brand new houses. Those houses are not built around play areas. They're not built around public facilities. They're just rows of identical building, a bit like this. So that, you know, it's simplistic to call that development. It looks like it's a town, but it's a village in a ghost town. A lot of the properties we're looking at were never built to service the local community. They were built to exploit them or the environment to make money. That's not entrepreneurship.
The new developments gave a welcome boost to jobs and tourism in the region. But now there are too many houses and not enough people. Leitrim County Council estimates that it will take at least 9 years to clear the vacant housing stock in the county, and that assumes no further houses are built.
Do you or the Taoiseach take personal responsibility for the mess we're in?
No, I mean, everyone has to take responsibility for what has happened over the last
You feel a sense of personal responsibility.
But the fact is, we have hit a wall, and no one really is responsible. I mean, it just happened that we hit a wall. There's international factors.
I'm just going to see a couple of the residents who missed our residents' meeting the other night, just to let them know what's going on and who's doing what at the moment to try and get things moving.
And how worked up are residents about this?
Well, I suppose we're all very annoyed. Everybody wants to do something and play some part, so we're trying to get things resolved, get things moving. It's quite worrying for some of us.
As you can see, it's pitch black. The only really light you have is the light from the houses. The developers told us and the ESB told us that because there's road not finished and there's houses not finished, they need to put in all the connections before they'll switch on the lights. So by the looks of things, them houses are never going to be finished. So will we ever have electricity? I don't know.
Hi, Amanda. How are you? Listen, I just wanted to let you know about the meeting the other night.
Oh, great, yeah.
A few of us volunteered to do...
The residents of Silver Birches have been left in limbo. As the development company is in liquidation, unable to complete the estate, residents hope that Longford County Council will take it over. But how or when this might happen is unclear.
See you later. Bye.
Meanwhile, there are still problems with unfinished roads, a lack of street lighting and the sewage.
Right in front of our house, the sewer comes back up through onto the road. So we go to people and say, who's going to help us here? And they say, well, unless we have photographs. But by the time it does get down, or they decide because they're so busy and get to us, it is soaked back into it.
The smell coming from our bathrooms is terrible, really. And then all along the road, it'll start to pile up the water. It's like it'll start liquid and it just comes up and up and up. And the smell from outside. And one of the neighbours' kids was in hospital because of this already, like.
I would love to get somebody in and pump that sewer up, put it into a tank and bring it up and put it in the Longford County Council office, put it in the ESB office and put it in the gentlemen that built these houses into their office, turn their lights off, cut all their plumbing and let's see how they would feel about it.
I commuted up and down to Dublin for a year and a half and it was just great. It was a great idea to get the option of the house and everything, but no. Wish I never heard of Silver Birches. I couldn't call it a home. Sorry.
If I could go in the morning, I'd be gone, put it that way. And I know a good few others as well that'd be in the same boat. You basically put in whatever amount it was in that, but you'll never see it coming back out, you know.
We had this dream of coming out in here and living in a beautiful estate, and it's just shattered. And it's just, I can't even find words to describe it. It just upsets me so much because, like, when you buy your home, it's meant to be the biggest investment in your life. And, like, we're left with just a wreck. That's just how I feel.
In 2006, on the 20th day of May, my life changed drastically, dramatically. That day was the birthday of my third son, Connor. He was aged 23 on that day. Connor said he had some little job he wanted to do for Monday morning, so he came down to the quarry. For some reason, at 3:20, I just got out of the chair and came down to the quarry to see what he was doing and could I help him or whatever. And I found my son dead. Somehow he slipped or something and got his hands caught in a conveyor and it snuffed his life out in a flash. You know, one of the things that was in my head, Jesus, was this Gosson screaming and screaming for help and he here all on his own. But the doctor says, no. Said he was gone. The shock shut, bang, that's it, down. Over the past while, regarding the downturn and the fact that I am actually broke, that means absolutely nothing to me at all. I'm broken-hearted. That's probably the worst thing. I suppose it's hard to deal with. However, I have to get on with it. Life is a bitch. That's just simply that. I suppose when I started this game back in 1982, I never thought that what I was starting would eventually rip my heart out. But it did. So that's what I have to live with now for whatever length of time I'm left to live with. It was a frenzy. The whole thing was all a frenzy. And it was all running and racing towards this big M. Where did it get us all? We don't know. We do know it got us all broke.
Central Bank has said Irish households are among the most heavily indebted in the world, but Irish banks are healthy and well placed to withstand the turbulence on international financial markets. Meanwhile, it was another bad day for bank shares on the stock market, with the main banks down.
I haven't an awful lot of money to physically put extras onto the site, but luckily enough, most of this area was finished pretty well, and it's just a matter of being here and maintaining it. My pride wouldn't let me leave the situation behind. I built the houses for the people that's here. I feel that I have to look after it as best I'm able for them until such time as we get all the houses sold. Whoever sells them, whether it's myself or the banks. Come on, we'll give you a complete viewing of this show house and you can see for yourself what you're going to be buying and what's built for us, so off you come.
Johnny Owens in Mullingar has dropped the price of the 3-bed houses from €295,000 to €150,000. He's selling at a loss, but in the current market and with debts to the bank, he has no choice.
We've tried to make use of all the space that we possibly could, so this is the kitchen.
So far this year, he's taken deposits on 10 of the houses.
Dishwasher here, and in your utility room you have washing machine, dryer and downstairs toilet, which is wheelchair friendly. In here is the housing market in Ireland was completely destroyed by Section 23. You go the length and breadth of this country, every village and every little town is destroyed with building sites. Where are the houses required? Like this town, Mullingar, is 40 minutes from Dublin. There's a motorway 5 minutes from this site. So there will be an ongoing market here. The kiddies' bedroom, if you like. Markets west of here are completely dead and gone, and possibly estates that are built having to be knocked down. And I'm hoping to extract a lump of loot off you. Maybe I might make a bank manager happy, or hopefully I'll make somebody happy anyway.
At Belmain on Dublin's north side, new houses and apartments are selling, though at greatly reduced prices. The Gouldings, who borrowed heavily to buy when prices were at a premium, could now be in serious negative equity if forced to sell.
Myself and Tracy used to joke, like, all the building that was going on, I'm saying, where are you getting the people from to fill them, like, you know? And it seems to have come true. A lot of the units still here are still vacant, like, and directly across from our own house now is empty. There's no issue really of the vacant units being run down around because they're upkept. I think the developer actually pays himself to have the grass to be cut on the outside of the house to be actually maintained to good standards, you know, so.
Because Mick is unemployed, the mortgage lender has agreed to a 6-month interest-only repayment plan. But if interest rates climb, the family may have to sell their home at a huge loss.
I do think people should be out marching, and I do think that the government needs to start listening to the ordinary people of this country. Like, I'd like to sit down with the 2 Brians and the 3 Marys and say, look, there you go, that's what I have, right? This is what I have to pay out. Now, you tell me how you would live on that. And then you introduce more of your tax increases and more of your bills that you're planning on introducing. And then you tell me how you're going to live on that. Come and live my life for 3 months and see how easy you sleep. They're helping the banks and the builders and all the people who made millions and millions out of this Celtic Tiger. We didn't make money out of the Celtic Tiger, right? We got a nice house, but we're killing ourselves now trying to pay for it. And like, we're bailing the banks out, and then the banks are raising interest rates on mortgage holders, even though we're bailing them out with our money. And then the government want to take more money off us again in the next budget. When do they say, right, OK, hang on, let's have a think about this. What are we doing to people? Do you know what I mean? And now I can't retire till I'm 68. At this stage, I'm not going to make it to 68 because I'm going to have a heart attack by the age of 40 from stress. But they don't care. They don't see any of this. They just don't. They don't give a damn.
The head of NAMA says unfinished building projects may just have to be knocked down.
Inevitably, NAMA may well be faced with the very difficult decision of perhaps knocking down certain developments, and this will incur costs. But
Do you remember there was that period for a while where they went, no one could know that this was going to happen? And I thought, look, I'm just your average university lecturer. I knew it. There was a sort of ideology in place, a bubble of illusion that Ireland was the country where people were so canny, so clever, so especially Irish, that their boom would go on forever. And when it stopped, it would plateau out and have a soft landing. And I look back at it now and you know it was just a lie. They knew it was a lie, the people who said that at the time. I just wonder when any of them will ever be held accountable.
What I see on the television at night, a ghost doll, half a dozen of fellas inside, arguing like hell over the stupidest of things. That's not doing the country any good, about who didn't do this or who didn't do that. Can't they get off their arses and get together and get things organised and give fellas like me a chance to get going again? And if we get any chance, we'll drive it on. We won't be lying down. And we're not going to spend every other day talking shite like what they're at.
The residents of Silver Birches are living beside unfinished houses that are a danger to their children. They hope that Longford County Council will eventually take charge of the estate. But with the development company now in liquidation, there are many issues to resolve for this to happen. It could take years to sort out the mess.
It's very sad to see kind of such lovely houses just left to fall down. I always thought I was a city girl. I always thought I'd stay in Dublin forever. But, you know, I've settled here now. This is my home. It may not be the dream I had when I first moved into this house, but there's plenty of years left, I'm sure, to fulfil the dreams.
I have to keep working. I mean, I'm meant to go to Canada for a job for a couple of months. Work is starting to dry up here now. It's getting harder and harder. If I want to relocate to Canada, I mean, I can't exactly sell the house and leave because I'm going to be maybe 150,000 in the negative. You would never in a million years consider that anything like this could happen. You know, let alone say the way the economy has gone and banks being bailed out.
Fault I'm out of work. I was put out of work. Are they even reading past my age on my CV?
The ramifications of losing my house are severe.
A new series follows recently unemployed people looking for work in an uncertain economic environment.
This is the first time that the professional classes in Ireland have been impacted in this way.
Rising After Redundancy starts Sunday at 9:30 on RTE 1.
Hi, I'm Claire, and this is the Clear Blue Digital with Conception Indicator. To give you double confirmation, it not only tells you if you're pregnant, but also how far along you are. Clear Blue, confidence when you need it most.
Clear Blue 20 Tests, the new easy way to help you maximise your chances of getting pregnant.
It's not always easy knowing what's around the corner, but with Aviva, there's always someone looking out for you. From making sure your home is protected, to providing access to the best healthcare for you and your family. From getting you on the road, to pensions and investments for your future. So whatever's around the next corner, we are too. Aviva, looking out for you.
I can say out loud that my dream.
Fixodent Food Seal. Its precise applicator helps to seal your dentures against food infiltrations. Fixodent Food Seal. Life with more bite.
Most of the time I like to have as many options as possible. Except when it comes to skincare. It seems that for practically every anti-aging problem there's a different cream. But thankfully I've found one cream with everything that I'm looking for. Total Effects from Olay. With 7 age-defying effects in just one cream. For younger looking skin and for a little less drama in the bathroom. I've swapped. Why don't you swap too?
Love the skin you're in.
Official Ireland disgusts me, and so do its media cronies. Someone needs to keep them honest and a little bit afraid. My Saturday news column is for star readers and all who feel let down by the failed institutions of this state. They don't want you to know the truth. The Star does. That's why I'm writing for them.
The Dunphy Files, shaking things up every Saturday, only in the Star.
Ooh, where did it go? You can concentrate on discovering life's little surprises when you're feeling comfortable and dry, thanks to Pampers Simply Dry, which will also surprise your mum. For an average of 17 cents per nappy, she can give you that amazing Pampers dryness every day. Peekaboo! Simply Dry, Pampers dryness you expect at a price you don't.
Our secret to hair with rich volume? Fine limp hair can be up to 20% thinner. When creating volume, it could be damaged more easily. With Pantane's advanced volume and body system, help protect your hair and get rich volume at the same time. Its lightweight body protect boosters invisibly wrap and help provide lift to the hair. With Pantane's volume and body system, you can create up to 60% more volume with up to 60% less damage. Pantene.
Aviva now has new lower prices for under 30s. So for prices up to €300 lower, call 1890 33 22 11 or contact your broker. Aviva, looking out for you.